Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga-Texas construction update video.
Well, welcome back out to Giga-Texas. It's another Monday, a start of another week. And as you can see, some of the clouds are coming in. Actually made for pretty good viewing today and good lighting. Now, just a couple of things I want to talk about before we get into the drone flight today. First of all, on my last flight, I actually got a chance to catch a very special event that was going on over at the direct delivery center. Ted and Fran, who are both 85 years old from Alaska. They've been married for 65 years, and Ted is an Air Force veteran. They were here to pick up their Cyber Beast, and they were really excited about the whole adventure. Coming down here, seeing Giga-Texas, trying out full self-driving, which was a big issue for them that they really wanted, and just the entire experience. And of course, me being able to capture it at the drone altitude at the same time is pretty special. So with what I'm just showing you here is a little bit about that drone flight, and also Ted did a video about his experience, and I'll put the link at the bottom of the screen. It'll be in the video description if you want to take a look at a little bit more about what they were talking about and his reasons for buying a Tesla and getting a Cyber Beast. So really cool, and I'm glad to be able to share that with you. And another thing that I want to talk about briefly is over at Cortex 2, we've been seeing the construction proceeding along all year. We've talked a lot about what it's for. It is a data center. We've been looking for the chiller plant. That's starting to be installed. We've seen the permits for that. But the exact purpose of Cortex 2 was a little bit of a mystery until this weekend. Now, Elon Musk was talking about some capital expenditures into the AI kind of realm that Tesla is getting into. And in that conversation, he mentioned that Cortex 2 is specifically designed to do Optimus robot training. So that's what this facility is for, and it's of course very close to where the factory is going to be built for that 10 million per year run rate for the Optimus robots here at Giga-Texas. So I was really glad to be able to get that confirmation so that we know not only is it a data center, but it's being dedicated to the Optimus training. So anyway, a lot of great other things going on today. So let's get into the drone, let's fly around and see what Giga-Texas looks like on this Monday.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are interested in Tesla products, you can help yourself and support me by using my referral code. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga-Texas. Another beautiful morning here at Giga-Texas, but we do have a little bit of cloud, so it gives us more diffuse lighting, and I'm going to actually like that because we'll get much more detail than the bright sunlight. We're starting here on the southeast side. You can see the steel corrugated pipe along the River Road extension. They're also doing berm work on the side here, and you can see that underway. Directly ahead is that clearing that is still in the process of getting the remnants of the trees moved away, and you can see the black silt fence around where the trees are and kind of outlining this location. You can also see some trenching at the bottom of the screen for electrical conduit. Now, one of the things that is underway is a big process to move a lot of this equipment around to prepare for that construction. We see some of that on the left-hand side of the screen by the trees. In the middle is the recycling yard, and I think we can see some activity here that may be representative of some early moves, maybe around with that white trailer is on the left-hand side of the screen. Of course, we have these new structures here with the white plastic around them. I've noticed at the far northeast of the site a new recycling area, and I'll show you that later on the video. But all of this is going to have to be a lot of work to rework this and move this, all the operations here and equipment and trailers to prepare for that construction. Now we do see some work here on this kind of drainage ditch here next to this particular material staging yard. You can see all the items that are stored here as well. This may play a role with that reconfiguration work on the other side of Robotic Avenue that we were just talking about, and we're just going to have to monitor this as time goes on. As we get closer to the old testing and calibration lot and the helicopter pad on the right-hand side of the screen, I'm going to zoom in here, that structure where there used to be a tent and they were doing some testing of that portable power system. All of that canvas is now gone. It kind of got ripped away with the winds. If we look at the secondary main entrance, you can see the construction entrance nearby, of course, that temporary platform, and not a lot of equipment being moved in right now. As we continue to pan the drone around, you can see some of that red equipment on the ground. I think that's related to production lines. See some more here next to the wall. And as we continue to fly to the south, you'll note those green items under wrap at the center of the screen. That's coming from that far southwest staging yard. And when we get over there later on today, you're going to see a lot less of that there. So we know that it's going into this part of the factory. Now, this is where we have stamping recycling going on. I saw this red bin. I thought I would try to zoom in here and kind of get a look at what is going on. And just looks like some materials being scrapped. It's hard to tell exactly what it is, and some of the other bins have that as well. As I continue to fly to the south, we see more of these wooden crates have been delivered next to this receiving door, and of course the gantry crane and that heavy lift SPMT, that green item. Looks like some of that's being dismantled now, or maybe just repositioned, but they use that to move a lot of this equipment in. And of course, you can see the packaging on the ground, and that's going up to that far northeast recycling yard, which I'll show you momentarily. Great view of the cooling plant here and how it is in operation today. All 6 of the fans are going, and hopefully that means we're getting a lot more FSD training and maybe getting us closer to 14.2. It's hard to say, but seeing the fans work, that's an indication that Cortex 1 here is definitely in operation. I'm going to kind of maneuver the drone here down along the glass. You see this crane getting set up, and I'm not sure what it is that they are doing, but we do know on the inside, you can see that white interior structure, and then right behind that is a mezzanine that's being added in, so perhaps they're doing some additional work related to that. It's hard to tell for sure. Here on the south end, we go over the Cyber Pond and River Road. Wanted to show you the work that's going on next to the south side here, the trench boxes. Some of those green pipes, they have those collars around it, and I'm being told that that is to allow them to slip through some previously bored holes or tunnels. And we see many of those here, so looks like a lot more of that has to be installed to finish that up. See the trench box on the left, more work on this sinking caisson, and it looks like they've got about 3 rings depth now. And you can see what they're doing down at the bottom of this caisson right now. There is rebar sticking out of the top, so it indicates we may see yet another ring added. And the forms, those blue forms in the top center of the screen, are ready for that work. Plus, there's a lot of equipment on that side of the street. As we come over to this caisson, see these rectangular or square kind of concrete vaults, and we see the spreader bars, the steel planking to prevent the collapse of this very large construction and this excavation. Lots of water in there because of the water table, and they are pumping it out on the left-hand side of the screen, as you can tell, and of course what the caisson looks like on the inside. So great view of all this work going on the south side of Giga-Texas. I'm going to reposition the drone here. We'll go to prepare on the west side and take a look at some of the new activity on that side of the highway. Since we were talking about caissons on the other side of the road, I thought I would just show you what's going on here. Much of the equipment and trailers on the surface has been removed. They've been collecting all of the gravel, and a lot of that's been ending up on the inside of the caisson itself. Now on the right, we see that large blue form, so that may be getting ready to be used as the bottom of this caisson continues to be filled up, and they're working on these forms and concrete structures so that they have the access down inside for workers. And this is what it looks like here today. Of course, there's that big blue form, and we'll see what they are doing. It does look like they poured something at the base about that size of that form, so perhaps that is why it is here. But this work is definitely continuing. They've been doing some repair work on this water detention pond on that east side, as you saw. And as we cross over the power lines, there are some more changes and deliveries here in this material staging yard I wanted to look at. So I'll bring the drone down as we pass by the steel corrugated pipe and the other pipe segments on the left. We see these blue boxes and other crates. And I'm going to kind of zoom in here, and there's something interesting on the open crates that I want to show you at the bottom of the screen. It almost looks like it's a template for a battery structural pack. You can see that on the open crate on the right. And I don't know, is that Cybercab size, or maybe it's something else? It's hard to tell. But this is what all these crates look like, and some of these appear to be similar to what we saw on the east side of the stamping machine structure. So perhaps that's where it is headed. We do see more materials, more red and white items, plus probably some robotic assemblers still staged here. All these concrete vault segments again, some more materials at the bottom of the screen, and then here is where we see even less of these green wrapped items. We saw 3 more on the east side of the factory just a few minutes ago in the video. So it looks like all of that is slowly moving that way and being installed inside. Of course, the racks for all the castings are being stored here next to the tent, and more of the steel on the bottom of the screen, which is used for interior construction. Now I'm going to come up over the power lines and just give a better view of this material staging yard, looking back to the main factory. Just a couple of things I want to point out today. The large Quonset hut-like workshop looks like it is completed. There's a lot of parts here for superchargers. Here's a nice view inside. And perhaps they are doing work here with superchargers. It's hard to tell for sure. Now we do see a lot of equipment here, blue pipes, other segments for doing some testing. And that is all arrayed by that workshop. We pass over the orange and white tent and some of the other materials that are staged here. We can see the transformers that are being stored around this location. And up near these spools of cabling, there are some more transformers. You can see it looks like 4 of them, white ones, on the bottom right of the screen. So very interesting just how this is continuing to change around. The outbound lot is almost empty compared to what we saw in my previous video. They've been doing a lot of work over the weekend, shipping off the vehicles for deliveries. And many of the Cybertrucks are also gone from what we saw at the end of last week. But it looks like more of the work is underway here with transport trucks filling up with Cybertrucks to get them ready for transport too. So here's another look at that. There's a few more Cybertrucks on this north lot, along with more of the Model Ys. And it looks like the direct delivery has had all the vehicles delivered. That red robotaxi is still there. And I've had some viewers suggest that they think that's the same one that was shown at Shareholders Day. So it may be just staying there for whatever reason right now is kind of a holding point. You can see new vehicles already arriving autonomously in the lanes on the left, and they have some cones out to help direct them around over to the proper part of the end-of-line facility for that final processing. So I'm going to get ready to cross over the highway again, and we'll resume next to the west side of the main factory. As you can tell, the flags are still at half-mast, although they've been cleaning up all of the displays that they had for Veterans Day at the base of the flag poles. We do see a Model Y coming out today. This one appears to be a standard variety, and that means that we're probably seeing standard production today, or at least for part of the day, as they seem to do those in groups. Standards, and then sometimes with the premiums, and intermixed in there are the performance variants. I came up onto the roof because I wanted to show you that they are continuing to make progress with this new segment of solar panels. It's kind of like a line underneath the Tesla letters. And what you can see is that it is extended all the way up to this fire break wall. And now they're putting the unirack mounts on the north side of that fire break wall. And that is continuing all the way up to the rest of the north end. And once this is done, we'll see what the next level of solar panels are going to be. This is adding a significant number to the roof, but there's still somewhere around the 30 to 35,000 solar panels installed, and they are calling for more than 70,000 once are all completed. So something I'll just keep watching. We do see the crates being loaded up on these yard trucks for recycling, and all of these are headed up to the far northeast, which we will see here a little later in the video, where a new recycling center has been set up to break down all of these wooden crates and get ready for those to be shipped off site. As we pass along this side of the factory, wanted to look at what is going on with battery can recycling, and the answer is not much. Everything has just recently been moved away for recycling, and all the bins are pretty much empty here today. I'll bring the drone back up. I wanted to show you where the roof seam work has been underway around these ventilation ducting and the cooling vents and enclosures. You can see those stripes, and we'll just continue to monitor to see what exactly is going on here, if it's just seam repair or if they're preparing for something else. I'll bring the drone back down here on the north end, and we'll fly around this side of the site and see what it looks like on this north end, which is always busy. I did notice that there was work underway in this clearing next to the silt fence on the left, and of course the new perimeter fence, and also the sages are in bloom, all that purple bloom along the Cyberberm. Cybertrucks are picking up and transporting more Cybertruck rear castings for the production facility, and this work has been going on all day, and I kept seeing those Cybertrucks moving back and forth from the factory back up here to pick up the castings. On the ground here, and those rack mounts are Cybertruck castings. We see some empty of the casting racks here on the ground, and then as I approach into this kind of east side of the melt center, I noticed a few things. One, we see delivery more of the recycled bundles of material for melting down, and here we see hundreds and hundreds of front and rear castings for the Cybercab. And all of these are brand new. This was not here on my previous video. And I'll try to fly along here so you can just see how many of them there are. And of course the racks here with the rear subframe. And then what you see at the top of the screen is a Model Y rear castings. And just shows you there's been a lot of casting work over the weekend, getting ready for a big production week. I'll keep the zoom in so you can see what the baghouse filtration plant looks like here. They're recycling some Cybertruck rear castings, it looks like, or maybe those might have been Model Ys, it's hard to tell. And then here is some of the materials that they used for the alloying for the aluminum once it's melted down. The first furnace loading system that's been in operation for a while. A lot of the scrap aluminum wheels that they get from recycling yards, it's part of their recycling operations here. And the new furnace loading system looks to be nearly completed. You can actually see the furnaces on the inside, on the left-hand opening, and on the right you can see some more equipment on the inside here as well. So really great views of what is going on, and soon both of the furnace loading systems should be completed and operational, which should help with the ability to make more and more castings, especially if we're expecting, as mentioned at the shareholders meeting, about a 50% increase in production rate. So we'll continue to watch that and see if that comes to pass. The number of castings that we see on the ground here, especially all the Cybercab ones, is definitely encouraging. And that is one of the reasons why they have that melt center, so they can have plenty of aluminum to make the castings that are expected. So I'm going to fly along over the east parking lot. Take a look at what is going on around this part of the site, and we'll resume over near the cathode plant. On the east side of the cathode plant, we see a few things of note. One, we see these two trailers, the gray and the white wrapped one. Looks like they are arriving, and those appear to be new, so we'll see where those end up. We can tell that there is more work going on in the crash test facility. They moved the crash test wall off to the left. You can see that lighted pit where the cameras are, and they have more of that grid on the ground. We see Cybercabs here under these covers, and many of them look like they're either missing parts or have actually had crash testing completed. More of the Cybercabs on the left-hand side of the screen under the covers. We see some materials in bins around on this part here between the structure on the right and the crash testing facility on the left. As I kind of maneuver the drone around, we can see some deliveries and crates on the ground and some Cybercabs that are in the inside here undergoing some of the whatever work that they're doing, whether it's crash testing, whether it's repairability, or whether it's some other kind of engineering work that is underway. But that is a pretty good view of what the crash testing facility looks like today. As I pull away, we'll be able to get a little bit more of a view throughout the entire length of the facility. You'll be able to see the light at the end showing what it looks like inside, and quite a bit of it is empty where the cars would be pulled. Now I'm going to keep the zoom in and look at all of the crates here on the wall of the cathode building. That's because this is where we saw a couple of videos ago the rear subframe, the completed frame for the Cybercabs, and right now I don't see really any more of that underway. So maybe they're done with that testing. It's hard to say for sure. There is a crane delivering what looks to be a frame next to all of these transformers, and the number of transformers seems to have grown even more. And here's a closer view of that crane and that frame that's being brought in. A nice view up to the northeast, and I noticed that there was some activity up near the rental equipment lot. So we're going to fly over there and see what is going on. Before we get there, I just wanted to show you from this vantage point, looking to the northeast, around all of this section that is having roadways and earthwork done. Just keeping this in my monitoring for now. Not really sure what the plan is or why they're doing all this work, but as you can tell, some of the roads go far up into the tree line next to this pond, and we can see a pathway going up through the trees here as well around this kind of semicircular part of the dirt road. And just very interesting that this work is kind of underway, and with that path that goes underneath the trees, underneath the drone, and to the further to the northeast. And looking back along this pond and those roadways, you can see where we are in relation to the main factory and the cathode building. Now, as I mentioned, there is some activity farther to the northeast that kind of caught my eye. So I'm going to fly the drone towards the northeast while we're looking to the southwest and see what this area looks like, where a lot of dirt has been pulled up from the right. And as mentioned, they have a new recycling yard that has been set up here. You can tell a lot of those unpacked crate materials are being prepared for that recycling. They have bins and they have some other sorting devices here as well. And that is something worth watching, not only because of the amount of equipment and crates that are being recycled, but also with the idea of that east side needing to be kind of reconfigured to allow for that construction. But anyway, that's a really good look here at the far northeast that we don't normally get a chance to see. And of course, more of the recycling materials, the concrete, and some of the building materials that are for the underground water management and water piping system. As we get closer into Cortex 2, we can see what the activity level looks like here with some of the dirt on the left, materials being brought in at the bottom left of the screen, and a lot more, some very large trucks that have been delivering some equipment as well. More materials stored on the north end of the factory too, and on the ground you see all those circular depressions where the augers have been busy putting in geopiers, and suggests that we're going to see another heavy-duty foundation put in here, and it may mimic what we're going to see on the south end here momentarily. But as we fly along to the east side of the factory or the plant, we can see where the exterior walls have been filled in with some of those openings, and they're just sort of getting all the final openings prepared. We also see trench work with electrical conduit, it looks like here, with the risers all coming up through this section of the building. In this opening, there is a new concrete ramp that joins up the higher graded area. We see the screw type piers on the right that have been recently added, and this huge reinforced foundation that is getting all the rebar in. You can see the forms, those angled forms, which we saw being put together on my previous video. And with the size of the workers, you get a good idea of the scale here. More rebar cages being fashioned, and of course these very large rebar foundation, kind of rectangular cubed shaped items being put in next to the factory. And we may see something very similar on the north end as well, where all of those geopiers were installed. But you can tell that a lot more work is being done here. What the purpose of that structure is, I'm not sure, but we'll continue to monitor that. As we get over towards the southwest corner, a couple of things I want to show you before we get to the screw type piers. First, where the trailers used to be, a lot of them have been moved away. We now are seeing these Connex containers being added here, and also the road has been ripped up, and it looks like a new road is being prepared that is in a slightly different direction. In this section, we see the screw type piers on the left waiting for installation, and then where these have been installed, they now put asphalt. You can see the electrical risers next to the screw type piers, and that work is continuing, moving towards the north. And a great zoom in view of what this appears like right now. I'm understanding that this is where the chillers are going to be, but we'll continue to monitor that and see how that actually happens. But here's a great view of the work that's going on with these screw type piers, the conduit risers, also some of the trenches that have conduit inside, and also some concrete being added as well. I also want to point out on the roof that they have these 3 lines of steel structures. It looks like there's, ramps to go over that. And then, of course, you can see what these 3 look like. So kind of suggests that we're going to see some equipment added on to the roof on those areas. But it'll be something that we'll continue to watch and see how it goes. There's a great view of the entire west side with more of the vault work next to the building on that third of 3 areas where there's conduit coming into it. Nice view of the north end looking to the south, and that retaining wall on that northwest corner. Turning our attention to the electrical switch yard, you can see that some of the materials are on the left-hand side of the screen. A lot more of these steel items stored on the north end of the site. And also along with the perimeter fence, more steel has been erected right now, especially around the circuit breakers, and there's work being done at the circuit breakers themselves, and the crane has been moved over here. So we're going to see more steel assembly on this section. The large transformer is getting more assembled parts put onto it, and it looks like they're marking off some more sections at the south of the two foundations, some in green, some in that kind of orange, and we're going to see some more trenching there, most likely to replicate what you see with the equipment on the original part on that south end. We see more of the circuit breakers stored here along with the disconnects, and there's a new excavation near where those items are stored. You see the conduit on the left, the vaults on the bottom, and more of those vaults conduit heading up to the north. Those should connect into that third conduit connection point to Cortex once it's completed. And here's a closer view of what's going on here on the south end, and of course the large underground vault with the control trailers. And then this is the connecting tunnel with those yellow cable bars, and still none of the cable has been lined up or run through that area yet. I did notice that there is some work being done at the Megapack 2. There's some deliveries being done here, and I noticed some other work as well. So I'll continue to watch that and see what happens with Megapack 2. That may be an indication that they're getting closer to when they think that they might be able to commission it. Of course, we'll have to see what goes on with the electrical switchyard expansion. So that's it for today. A lot of going on here to start the week up, and I appreciate you watching along. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your support. Have a great week.